Namaste. Welcome back. Here we are on the Manor top location. I've got supplies in the hot bar. So let's start putting out some corners on this building. So we're just going to pick these guys up to... Oh, you know what? Okay, 4 high. Gonna be taking some fall damage on this guy. So we'll dig those up. Go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You know, I think that the plan is, let's see, stone brick. Yeah, so this, we're gonna have timbers going across the top of this from side to side. Every other block, so we can drop those in place. Actually, you know, it probably makes sense to yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this without continually taking fall damage. I'm accustomed to building in this style on the Veteran Craft server, which I've mentioned before, and with the plug-in that they have on there, I actually don't take any fall damage because I've got an acrobatic skill that's so high. You know, I just do a graceful landing and it's all beautiful. So maybe, oh yeah, this is reminding me that some of this soil will be excavated away. So I put the wool blocks down at the level. Let's see, this is going to be, yeah, this is an outside corner. Is that right? So this is gonna, this wall is gonna come in and meet. Oh yeah, I've got a problem in my layout here. This wall was gonna come and hit here, but then this was gonna bump out a little bit. I'm not sure that's what I want. Let me make sure I've got an odd number of blocks here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's an odd number right now. If I move that in, it'll be even, and I don't want that. Well, one of these is going to end up with an even number, no matter what I do. So, I could bump this out a little bit more, come out 2 more, so it actually has a little gable that comes out. It really ought to be more than 2 though. It ought to be 3 to make it scale properly. And then that would mean this would be an inside corner like that. And then that would mean that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, and then here, and then here. And that would leave 1, 2, 3, and that would leave 1, 2, 3. Oh no, we're okay. Yeah, we're okay. Let's take these out. I'm going to double check those counts, and I'm going to get this timber for the first floor laid out, and then I will come back to you and show you what I've got. All right, here we are. So we've got all the vertical frames in, timbers in, and then I put the horizontal across. So the way I did this is I, on the outside, or right on top of each of the pillars, there's a beam running across. And the long ones are the major support beams, and I extended those out past by 1, because what we're going to do is actually on all of these edges we're just going to stick a log out so that it's jutting out like that. right? So all along this face, we're going to do that same treatment. These corners are a little tricky because if I stick one there, then we get a little crazy. So this one should stick out here, and this one should stick out here. And of course, this one could go either way, so we just have to figure out what we're going to do about that. And I'm noticing that we've got this huge wall section here that this one log would be carrying the whole load of and trying to get it down to there. And I don't think that that is going to look so good from the other side. It's going to be one massive wall. So we're going to break that up. So let me go and lay these down first. Actually, you know, I can come back to this so you don't have to sit here and watch me dropping these in here. So I'm just going to put down this one wall of them, and then we're going to go drop down, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this corner, or with this one side. I'm going to have to excavate some of that so that we can do something here. So my thought was to use these, to mirror these inside corner beams by just putting in some uprights, some vertical timbers here, so that this face will be broken up by those. And so we'll end up with, because we put in 2, it'll keep our size of this span an odd number. So we have 3, and then I think 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then another 3. So that'll be nice and symmetrical as well. So we'll just pop these in here. And there we go. We got the timbers for the first floor, other than me going around and placing these on. Not sure I'll be able to reach these. Yep, as long as I don't walk off my hilltop here, we'll be okay. So this is going, we have the option now of keeping this a single story or going to a second story. Now these bump outs here are meant to carry the walls of the second story, and those bump out once, so they actually sit on these pieces that extend instead of sitting on here. So we don't end up with both, we end up with the 2 levels, the lower one indented from the top, or the top outdented from the inner one. So that breaks up the whole vertical mass of the facade. So we end up with a more, what I think is a more interesting look. I'm going to take these corners out for right now, and we will figure out what we're going to do with those later. So let me lay in the stone brick. I'm going to start doing that for you, show you what we're going to do there. Pretty simple. One of the things we got to figure out is where we're going to have doors and where we're going to have windows, and we can change, of course, change all of that later. But it would behoove us to figure out where we think it's going to be. This is a sheer drop, and this is not. This has got a gentle slope down to the farm and all that. So maybe we put this corner could be a little entryway, since we've got a little bit of space out here we could do something with. This could be a doorway, and this could be a doorway. So this ends up being kind of an alcove entryway, and then this would be main structure. So this would be all walls, 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 no doors. And then maybe we don't even have any here. So let's just assume that it's the only doors are going to be out this side for right now. So we're going to leave a space for a door, and then we put in the let's see, let me make some stone stair, because we're going to need those, because I like to put a little detail above the door for this design, and like that. So it just has a little bit of an indentation there, and then a door goes there. And then we're going to do the same thing in this 3x3 space. And here's where our little indentation goes. And then the door will go there. And then it's just a matter of wall. So I'm going to lay those out, and I will come back to you after I've done that. Okay, I've got them laid out. So laying out a wall is simply a matter of going around the inside of the beam and along the ground, and you end up with a space too high. And then depending on the width of the wall, here I ended up with 2 high, 3 wide, and then I just break it up so that it's got 2 by 1 slots. So that's what we've done all along here. Okay, and we'll put in some white glass in those later on. So all of these are done now. We'll have to figure out what we're going to do with this elevation on the other side of this wall, whether we want to keep it a window slot or a wall. But in any case, we've got that there, so let's have a look. I'm going to go actually down, have a look. It's always good, I find, to step away from the building and see what we've got from the ground. Yeah, that looks good. These trees make it a little bit tough, but yeah, I like it. So there'll be a door there and then windows there, and there'll be another house that even lifts up higher, so it's not just straight across at the same level, so it breaks it up. It looks good. I like it. And then, so next we're going to put up the timbers for the second story, and after that we will do the clay, the stained clay. Okay, this looks good from here. Let's take a peek down this side. Oh yeah, so here we can see the gable end that juts out. So that's really nice. It sticks out really nicely from the main structure. We could also, for visual interest, keep this part 1 story and just go 2 story on the top if we wanted to. I think I'm just going to go 2 story on the whole thing, because my expectation is that we're going to be operating out of this building for quite a while as we build all the rest and gather resources, especially the most time-consuming part of it. So we're going to want as much space as we can get here. So another story on top of this would be a really beneficial thing for us. The other option would be to build, the next building that we build is a barn, and we could use that, the loft above, for storage. That's another good option. That's actually what I did on the Veteran Craft server. I actually built the barn first so that I would have a place to stable horses and have a place for chests, and actually I put an enchanting room and all that kind of thing in here. But for this one, I think let's build this one 2 story. This needs to be a grand house, so we're going to make both parts of this 2 stories, and we may or may not go 2 stories on this part. We'll see. Let's decide that when we get there, but let's flesh this one out. So again, I'm going to go timber frame this top part, and let's see. The drill here is to go, we're actually going to go, so here down below we did an inside corner like this, so the vertical member here, empty spot there. So we have the option of doing the same thing here, or reversing it and going with an outside bend. We could go either way. I'm thinking we're going to do an inside corner. We're just going to mirror this same corner up here. So that means we need to lay out more wood. Get rid of those. And so that means we go something like this. And then the space in between will be stained clay. Make sense? Okay, see you after I get that second floor timbered out. Okay, I've got the top timbers on, and now with this jut out, we need to have a look at things and make sure that they're actually doing what we want them to do. So, in other words, we need to make sure that things look visually like they make sense. Like this timber is coming across here and it's unsupported here. This inner wall comes across to keep that space the same as the space below. And maybe that's actually not what I want. I want to kick this out. So this is going to make, yeah, so I did this wrong. See how these timbers here, the vertical ones I put above the vertical ones below on the first floor, they need to actually come up from here underneath this corner and have this just go straight across. So I need to tear that out. That maintains the odd number 1, 2, 3, yeah, 3 there. So we just need to continue this timber across and then hop down here, ow, and fix this. So let's take these out. This whole thing can go. Let's see if we strand any logs up top. The time to figure this kind of thing out is right now, rather than later. Okay, so we can take that out. Okay, so this whole floor will bump out 1 from the one below. That's exactly what we want. And this one, so we just need to put a support under this corner. And it really needs to go right here down, which is going to put us right here. So it looks like what we may need to do is maybe we put a corner. Yeah, we got to do something here to give support to this log that's going to be sitting here vertically like that. There's going to be a member going across or up from here, so like so. And the same thing here. So it needs to go in this corner. Oop. We'll fix this one here. We'll take out later from below. Okay, so that looks like it's got support now. Everything's supported properly. And this back wall we need to break up like we did with the one below. So we've got timbers here. So it would have been better to have them fall on one of these guys. So for right now, though, we'll just do that. And then that will break out the right way. And the same thing here. Oh, did we get lucky and it falls in the right place here? Did I get this wrong over here? Yeah, I did. It does fall in the right place. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this has to go here. Oh, good. So it does fall on a support right where we want it to be. Not a pickaxe. Not a pickaxe. Okay. Did we get lucky? No. Okay, I need to go get those pieces of log. All right, so we've got the second floor on there. Let's have a look at that. Second story. Come down here and take a look. Oh, yes, nice. See how this upper level jutting out from the lower level gives it more visual interest than just some monolithic 2-story square or cube. Okay, so we can go back up here, and I think what we'll do is I could either put the roof timbers, start putting the roof timbers up there, or we could lay out the wall part first, the upper story walls. I think that's the way to go. So let's have a look at our stain options. So remember, one of the constraints in this build challenge is to use only local materials. And so our dye choices are limited. We've got a little bit of red flowers. We've got some yellow flowers. There's one over there. I've already harvested some. We've got lapis, which we can get from below ground. We already have some. So we can get color from that. Let's see, what other color options do we have? We've got squids around with the ocean and the water around, so we could get black to do black or gray. And let me show you, I collected some flowers. And so between lapis and bone meal, we could generate a couple different colors there. And we can also use the bone meal to lighten up other colors. So we can, let me grab this out of there, and what? the hardened clay. Let's have one of these. Well, let's do more than one. We're going to need a bunch of this clay, and I'm not sure how much yet. So let's have a look at colors for a second here. So I've got a little bit of rose red made already. Let's make some of that. So red is a color that is difficult to find in this area, and that actually could make sense, right? Because if this is a manor house, then a more rare color would be used by a more affluent person. So the red actually goes really nicely with this wood. Yellow, I think, is not going to go so well. So let's make a little bit of that while we're here. A little bit of dandelion yellow. So this kind of makes a mustardy color, which we'll undoubtedly use in other buildings. Oh, it actually makes an orange color. And actually that orange will look good with this spruce as well. Yeah, nice bright color. Okay. So those are a couple options. We could just stick with the hardened clay color as it is. I think that that's probably going to end up used in other structures. So if you look at those colors together, they actually go really well together. It's just not the special kind of thing that I would expect for the manor house. So yellow or red. We have the choices of blue. So let's have one of these. I'm going to put this red back in here. And I'm going to put this yellow clay in here just to get it out of my inventory. So let's take this. And so this is a really dark color, and I don't know that this purple is going to work anywhere for this build because it's so dark. Maybe on a small building it might work. Doesn't actually look that dark, but for this big building it would be a big mistake to use that. We can also lighten it up, which makes a kind of a shade of gray. So let's pop this out of here and grab another lapis. You see, I like comparing the colors to the actual building site so that I can get a really good idea of what it is that I'm dealing with. Which is probably using up clay, valuable clay that we're going to need for other things. C'est la vie. That's just the way it is. Such is life. Okay, let's pop out into another corner where we can stick this in. That light gray is actually, or light purple is actually pretty nice. Goes well with the gray stone brick. It doesn't clash with, and it doesn't really go well with the spruce, but it's a nice color. So let's see what other options we have. We can make white stained clay, which actually makes a kind of a pale color. I may not actually make any of this because I don't want to use... So this makes kind of a peach color, more like a skin tone. I'm not going to go with that. Okay, and then what else? What other color options do we have? We could lighten up the red to make a pink. I don't think we're going for that on this particular build, and I don't think we can lighten up the yellow, can we? Actually, I ought to make all this dandelion yellow into the yellow dye because we're going to need it. at some point, and it won't take up 2 slots. One for, yeah, we can't make the yellow layer. Okay, so other than going to wool, those look like our color options right there, and I am leaning toward the red. Although it really creates a dark look up here. Yeah, I prefer it to the yellow for such a big, this ochre kind of color. I think for a big building like this, it would just not be good. Let's throw that back in there. Okay, so we're gonna stick with the red color then. Let me make some more of that. That means I need to get more red flowers so that I can make more rose red. Let's just make what I can here though. And we'll pop up and show you the layout. The layout of the walls above are the same as below. So we'll do this little bump out. So we go along the base, along the top, and along the wall, the timber frame. And here we just, because it's a 3x, we just end up with a 2x1 keyhole, and we do the same thing here. Except we end up with a bigger space, so we split the middle, and we end up with 2 1x2 windows. And ditto for this side. I'm showing my age, saying ditto. Okay, there we go. So that's the deal. Let's have a look at that from the ground on that other side. Now, granted, it's nighttime, so it's going to look a little different in day. It's good to look at it in the night and see what it looks like. That's not what I want. Either way, I'm going to fall a good... Oh no, there's a way. Right there. Okay. Oh yeah, that looks nice. When we put in some nice white stained glass window in these guys, it'll lighten up that facade. Plus it'll be lit from the inside. It's going to look really nice. So I'm really, really quite happy with that. So let me finish doing the red, and I'll come back to you when it's time to do the framing for the roof. All right, the red stained clay is in for the second floor. The sun is coming up, and I realized as I was coming back to record the roof that there's just not going to be time in this episode. The roof is fairly complicated, and I want to cover the whole thing with you. There's not that much monotonous placing of logs or anything like that, so it shouldn't be tedious for you. I'm looking at this. I was thinking while I was putting the red stained clay up here that I was wondering whether we ought to extend, you know, how on the other side from here, the opposite here, we have a gable end sticking out. I was wondering if we should have a gable here or not, because this is a pretty big surface, and then we're going to have a roof. If we have a roof that just goes the whole distance here, it's just going to be kind of flat. So I think a gable, we'll try to put a gable in there and see how that looks. So next episode, we will do that. Let's back out here and get a nice view. Yeah, that's nice. Thanks for watching and liking my video. Namaste.